What you're about to see in this video was filmed about 10 weeks ago when we first got our hands on the HD LRC Viron. Since then, it's obviously public knowledge, people have been flying it, but of course we've been a little bit busy here on the channel, things in my family life, all that sort of stuff, but just know this was filmed before there was any information on it, so we're going to roll the video and then I'll wrap it up at the end. So let's stay tuned because not everything goes to plan. G'day, Stu from UAV Future Zero. Today, well, we're back at it with a bit of Cine Bee action, and the last Cine Bee, Cine Woo, whatever it is. You know, these big ducted things fly around, they seem to be all the rage right now. The last one that I just spat everywhere and started, but the last one that I reviewed, I think it was the one from iFlight. It was an awesome unbreakable yellow one, a little card should pop up there. So many people were upset that, Stuart, you didn't show me any footage of what it's like with the camera strapped in. They want to see what it's like with the GoPro, so don't worry, I hear you loud and clear what we have here, and I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna see if I can try and find a link down below. This is HD LRC's, it says Cine Whoop Ratel on the box that mine came with, but it might be called the Veyron. I've been trying to Google and find some pages and I can't find too much information about it. It might be an early prototype, but what we're gonna do, I'm gonna be showing you guys anyway. We're gonna put it on the bench, break it down, look at the text and the specs, and most importantly, this thing is doing some things a little bit different to some of the others, but I'm gonna show you exactly how you should be filming or using a Cine Whoop style drone. So stay tuned, because if you are into filming, you definitely need to be seeing this Cine Whoop. So let's do it, jump right in, and as a bit of an overview, as you can see, it has some amazing colors, and it is covered by this beautiful foam bumper, very much like the one from iFlight, the Bumblebee or something like that. This bad boy doing some things very, very similar, but let me get my chopstick. You can see in the one difference here, we've got these foam bumpers on the outside. It's got unibody base plates and top plates, all that sort of stuff. But the plastic, the TPU plastic, doesn't go all the way around. It's trying to reduce some of the weight towards the middle, and I got to say, I kind of like that idea as long as it doesn't distort too much over time. If I stick it on the scales, where's my scales? Bear with me. Tear this off with the egg cup tear. Okay, and hopefully I'll tell you guys what it is anyway, because it's coming in, I'm not sure, it's kind of blocking it. Let's move this prop for you guys. It's coming in at 262 grams with the GoPro mount on the top. And I've got to say, it feels very, very light in the hand, waving this thing around. I do think it's going to get affected by the wind, but let's do it. Go through some of the components, talk about what's inside, the designs, all that sort of stuff. And then the fun stuff, we go fly it and we see just how well does the filming footage look like. What sort of cinematography could you be using this drone for? Because what it's made for, it's not made for your flippy flops. It's not made for you racing. It is made to strap in your GoPro, go to town and get some juicy shots. And I mentioned the foam and the frame. Underneath that, I think I've got the 4S version, is at 3300 kV. They're 1408 motors and 3600 kV on the outside, so it should have plenty of pop. Underneath, we've just got our standard sort of stuff, you know, our flight controllers with onboard OSD, all that sort of jazz, yada yada yada. We've got an XM Plus in the background. I'm probably going to be switching that over so I can be flying around with my Tango 2 as well. And of course, we've got a nice big antenna on the back, so you should be getting some juicy footage. And also, I believe that there's a DJI version as well, but I can't find too much information on this one at the time of filming. I'm not even sure if I'm meant to have this prototype or if I'm allowed to make a video on it or anything like that. Towards the front, of course, this is one of the stars of the show. In this one, we have the Ratel camera. It is looking gorgeous. Ratel, you know, the Caddx Ratel is just, it's a beautiful camera that a lot of people enjoy using because it's crystal clear and it's got great colors. But the beauty of this one, it's not about the FPV feed, it's not about the flight experience. Like I keep mentioning, it is all about the GoPro footage that you capture with this. We're going to be throwing around with stabilization on, all that sort of stuff. If we look at the design of the thing, I'm going to say, I like it. It knows what it wants to be. So it is a Cine Whoop that has some nice bumper protections on there, and I think that's critical. We're going to have to see how it deforms. Is there going to be any, I guess, structural integrity issues because the plastic on the inside doesn't go the full way around, so we'll have to see just how well that goes. But I do have some kind of high hopes, as long it doesn't get deformed too much or that causes too much of an issue. You can see if I really push it, some of those noises are coming through, so we'll have to see how that is out in the field. And then as far as the pros and the cons go, let's talk about things that I like, things that I don't like. So cons out of the way, I'm going to say it's not for everybody out there. It really has a very niche purpose of flying, so it really is only for the filming. It's not going to be fast. fast. It's not going to be agile, flippy flops, all that sort of stuff. It's just for capturing GoPro footage. But on the pro side, what is it good at? It is good at capturing footage. It's going to be robust. It's going to protect things you're flying around. It's a relatively small form factor, and it's going to be safe as well. So there's some of the pros, I guess, that are critical, and it should be fairly stable as well. It should be well balanced with the GoPro up the top and a long battery on here. We should be looking at a fairly stable craft that you can get some good filming with. But look, that's it quickly on the bench, because that's not the exciting part. Find out just how well could you put something together using the footage captured from this drone. So let's go do it, have some fun, and show you that footage right now in 3, 2, 1. Radio out here in the field. Let's do it. We're with Wingman Jono, and we're flying around with HG LRC, Cine B, Cine Whoop. We'll see how it goes, put it through its tests, and of course, show you some HD footage. So I'm going to borrow Jono's GoPro, because I've got the 8, it doesn't fit in this mount that it comes with. I can't be bothered to change the mounts out or reprint a new one, so we're just going to put your GoPro in.
Easy done.
So let's do it, and then we'll see what you think as well. So let's show you some footage in 3, 2, 1. Whoop. Okie dokie, here we go, on board, and things I want to make very clear. Of course, not everybody's footage is going to look like this. Don't compare this to your FPV feed or even your normal GoPro footage, because we're trying to be as stable as we can, and this is with the GoPro 7 with stabilization on. So I want to make that clear. The drone characteristics sometimes might look smoother than it actually is, and I'll show you some FPV feed jumped in amongst this as well in this little recording. But here we go, and I've got to say, I'm also learning to fly around with a Cine Whoop, because it is a totally different style of flying. You are using the yaw. Jono's given me some tips there. You are using the yaw significantly more than when you're using pitch and roll, because you're really trying to be like a gimbal in the air. So I don't know, when this thing is cruising around, you're trying to keep it as level as possible. But what do you guys think? Could you imagine filming some car shows, filming some real estate ads, all that sort of stuff when you're buzzing this thing around? For me, I'm going to say, look, I probably would, but it's not my everyday type of flyer. Here I tried to film a little bit flying up around this windmill, trying to get some cinematic shots, but you need to be very careful too, and be mindful of where's your VTX, or where's your FPV camera pointing, and also where's your GoPro pointing. So you've got to make sure those things are on the same angle so you can try and line some shot ups. Here we are, just cruising through the park, and I must say it was a gorgeous day while we're out there. We also did a live stream out there as well. But yeah, just cruising around, and it's just a nice, easy, stable flyer, but it is going to feel very different to see your 5-inch drones, your toothpick drones, your micro drones, whatever you're trying to do. And here I'm trying to give it a little bit more gas, push it a little bit faster. It is a very different flight style. So look, it's not going to be for everybody. I would say this one really is just for people who want to try this sort of Cine B, sort of Cine Whoop flying style, get a little bit of filming. You can see you can do flips and rolls, but it is definitely not made for it. But what we should do in a moment, I'm going to chuck up some DVR footage and let you guys see that, and you'll see exactly why poor Jono doesn't even get a go. So you can see right here, I want you to judge the flight characteristics based on what you could see, but also we were getting some crazy reception issues, and I wasn't too sure what was going on, and it wasn't entirely apparent when we're flying this thing around when it was in the air. We're like, what is this? We're not too sure, all that sort of stuff. I was saying I'm getting a lot of flickers, and we think, see if you can diagnose what the problem is. There is a reason why it looks like this. So judge it on its flight characteristics and what that footage looks like, but bear in mind, this was filming with the problem we discover. As soon as we turn this camera off, as soon as we bring the flight in, you'll see exactly why the reception is so terrible. So take your picks, can you guess why? And then we'll bring it in and sort of, yeah, poor Jono, you don't get to go. Sorry, buddy, but see if you guys can tell at home, what do you think the problem might be? All right, now look, I don't know what's going on here, because we're not having too much luck with the Cine Whoops today. Flying this around, I'm like, John, I'm getting some terrible reception. You would have seen this in the DVR. You don't get to fly this today. Do you know why?
Oh, gee whiz.
I'm like, thought I'd check out the antenna. It's broken.
I don't think
So, where's the antenna cable?
we are not having much luck with these Cine Whoops today.
So yeah, no video reception there. So flight characteristics, yeah, it was okay, but reception, garbage. But at least now I know why. So anyway, Jono, sorry you don't get to fly this today.
Yeah, I know.
What's your first thoughts on it though? We'll get your impressions on the frame, the design. Yeah, that antenna part's broken. We will investigate, but what do you reckon?
Yeah, like once again, it's nice foam siding on there and stuff like that. I like the way that all the Cine Whoops are going into that sort of way. It makes it much more indoor friendly.
Yeah. What do you think about TPU on the inside? Yay, nay?
Yeah, like it seems like I think that's actual just normal 3D printed PLA.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
I meant
PLA.
Plastic. Yep.
Does look like if you push in, it gets a bit of a rub on the props, which is no good. But you know, it'll help protect it a little bit if it's not touching the props, which is okay. But Yeah, man, I feel like I'd probably prefer to just have the standoffs and probably remove those, because if you look in here, you can see there's rubbing there.
Yep,
That's from
you
a
can see
props,
some rubbing in there
and
as
in
well.
there from a props as well. Yeah, if they can be taken out without any issue, I'd lose that. I would.
Easy.
Yeah. Other than that, like, yeah, it looks like a pretty decent sort of Cinewhoop, nice Ratel camera in there. Yeah. Other than the antenna cable
it's a
snapping.
dumb design, because you can see it's gonna, if it
Yeah.
lands, it's gonna press it back, and that's obviously what's happened.
There's a lot of flex on that. They should just move to a stubby. Most of the other ones are just using stubbies, they are. So yeah, if you move to a stubby on that, you're gonna have less of an issue. Maybe a better TPU mount.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Matt.
No worries.
Rightio, so there it is. There's my very late review of the Cine B, via whatever you want to call it, this filming rig from HG LRC. And overall, my thoughts. It does a decent job, but it doesn't do everything perfect. And probably the big one for me, like Jono points out, the ducks in there. I don't know if that is the best solution, having those hard plastic ducks in here anymore. I have seen some better designs out there since I originally did start to film this. And of course, this antenna at the back here, that's just asking way too much pressure to be put on the back. And look what happened to mine. It snapped there. So no flights for Jono, no flights anymore until I change that pigtail out, all that sort of stuff, which is not really what you want when you've got a rig that's designed to be taking a lot of crashes. So look, I don't know, I'm gonna give it about a 7 out of 10. It's absolutely not the worst one I've seen, but it's also not the favorite one that I've seen as well. So just kind of in the middle range. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think, what you think about Wingman Jono not getting a flight. Of course, it was me maybe who broke it this time, not him. So I gotta give him that one. Usually you should see what happens in the next Cine B we review. He totally wrecked it, but stay tuned for that. Comments down below, let me know what you think about this. Is it too little, too late, all that sort of stuff. And subscribe for my FPV related content. And as always, happy flying.